What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest. I have Drog Baba. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
थैंक यू भाई थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी ऑन।
How are you?
बस बढ़िया बढ़िया, आप बताओ कैसे हो?
अरे मैं सब ठीक अभी. So today we are going to be discussing, since both of us are Chelsea fans and the club is being sold by Roman Abramovich due to everything that's going on. For that I thought, why not get another Chelsea fan and make the strongest 11 that Chelsea have had under Roman Abramovich. So that is exactly what we are going to be doing today. But before we get into the video, please do leave a like on this video. Subscribe to Drogba channel if by any chance, I don't know how is that possible. If you don't know his channel, do subscribe there. Subscribe to this channel as well. Also, please do check out my second channel. The link to that will be in the description down below. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into Roman Abramovich's era's best 11. So let's start off with the goalkeeper, and I don't think there is a lot of debate also for this position.
Definitely the only two notable keepers we have had in the Abramovich era were Peter Cech and Thibaut Courtois. And Thibaut Courtois, even if he becomes the best goalkeeper of all time, all the Chelsea fans will continue to hate him.
He's a snake.
So there's no point even having him in the conversation. So Peter Cech it is.
First of all, I want to ask you, do you agree with a 4 at the back, or do you want to? It's up to you totally.
Personally, I would like to have a 3 at the back because I would really want Ivanovic and Azpilicueta, both of them, to be there. Because if we have a 2 at the back, then it would be very difficult for us to accommodate
everyone.
Both of them. Yes.
So now coming to the defense. Okay, so I will ask you first, who are 3 defenders? All 3 together. One definitely.
Ricardo Carvalho, John Terry in the middle, and the right centre back will be Branislav Ivanovic.
Fair enough. There are a couple other names also, like Gary Cahill, who has been, a good servant to the club, but I agree with that. Talk to me about, obviously now I've started watching football. I mean, I did not watch football when Roman Abramovich took over. I was barely born at that time. So, of course, you probably started, when did you start getting into, Chelsea and started watching football?
It was around 2004-5 when I started watching football. So like I saw that Carvalho Terry partnership in its full effect. So at times this center back pairing was impenetrable. Literally, I mean, Fernando Torres at his peak said that Ricardo Carvalho and John Terry was the toughest center back pairing that I've ever seen. So I think for me, those two have been the best center backs. I would really love to have Thiago Silva in the conversation also, but would let him, play another season. If he plays 3 seasons for us, then I will replace Carvalho with Thiago Silva. But for now, it's Ricardo Carvalho, Branislav Ivanovic, and John Terry, because all 3 of them were beast of a defenders. Absolutely crazy. And Ivanovic was like, he'll put his 150% on the pitch every time. Either he'll play right back, he'll play center back. So as a right back also, he was very good, but he played as a center back for most of the time. And he was very good on that also. Won us the Europa League final in 2030 when he scored the winner in the last minute.
Yeah.
And he scored those 2 goals against Liverpool at Anfield in the Champions League, the 2009. So I think for these 3 make a really good defense. These 3 center backs.
Obviously, I have not seen none of those matches live, for sure. There was no chance I was seeing them live, but I have definitely watched all of the matches, like highlights of them. Like I've watched them a million times, and I'm basing like my thoughts on these players are basically based on highlights rather than watching them over 90 minutes, like how I'm currently watching these current group of players play. So obviously I cannot relate that much to them, but definitely the big games, they showed up and they were there consistently and they won a lot of trophies. So there's no doubt about that. Now moving to the midfield.
Hmm.
Who are your two midfielders?
Now, see,
There are a few
three
names. There are a few
there
names
are
over here.
three absolutely crazy defensive midfielders that we have had over the course of our history, post Abramovich era, that I'm saying. So one is Makalele, one
Makalele,
is
yes.
Michael Essien, and one we are seeing right now, Angolo Conte. So if I have to pick just one defensive midfielder, then I have to go with Conte, because I haven't
Fair
seen
enough.
anything like Conte, to
That's
be
there, yeah.
honest. I mean, Makalele was absolutely crazy. Michael Essien was a powerhouse, but Conte is something different. He's generational. We use this word a lot. The term generational gets thrown out a lot of times right now, casually. The Pedri is generational, Gavi is generational,
Yeah,
Foden is generational.
every single
People
player.
don't realize
Yeah.
what generational is. N'Golo Conte is generational. Such kind of players arrive once in a lifetime.
Exactly, and he's an absolute gem of a player. And you know, it was like I think it was a big steal that Chelsea did from Leicester City by getting him, because after he's come in, he's it's never felt empty, that midfield part of Chelsea. So that's definitely one thing. There are a lot of good shouts like Makalele. You have would you play Lampard in this position?
No, I'll play Lampard in the front three,
Okay,
like
fair
what
enough.
Mount
Yeah,
does with the two strikers.
we have
So my left
Fabregas as
wing,
well.
yes. So I was coming on to that point.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I
Go
would
ahead.
like to see attacking a creative midfielder alongside Conte. So we have players like Michael Ballack. We have uh, Joe Cole can also play in that role, but he was primarily a winger. But I think Fabregas was a really good player for us in that deep lying role,
Yeah.
when he played under Conte, when he played under Mourinho for us in that double pivot alongside Matic. So I think Fabregas gets a shout, just because right now, if we are to select a team on the merit, just how a good a player is, then Makalele comes in. But we have to have some creativity also. So I
That's
think for
true.
that, to balance the team out, I think Fabregas should be there. I mean, he was a really good player for us. I
Yeah.
really love Fabregas.
And it was like again an it's coming from Arsenal. It's definitely going to be a good signing, because every single player that has come from Arsenal to Chelsea have just been exceptional. And when it's the other way around, it's gone completely downhill for them. But okay, coming to right wing back, I would say this position,
As
Azpilicueta, club
because
legend.
yes, because we have gone with the three at the back to accommodate
Yeah.
both Azpilicueta and Ivanovic.
And
That's why. And Ashley Cole, no doubt about it. The best left back that I've ever seen play this
Marcus
game.
Alonso.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man.
No, please, no Marcos Alonso. Ashley Cole is the best left back I've seen
Fair enough. Yeah.
in this game to play. People say Eric Abidal, people talk about Jordi Alba. They haven't seen Roberto Carlos. People talk about. They haven't seen Ashley Cole play. Ashley Cole was a perfectly balanced fullback. He could attack, he could cross the ball in, he could defend. Cristiano Ronaldo said the toughest fullback that he's ever faced is Ashley Cole. So that is saying something.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of his, highlights on YouTube. A lot. I've been watching a lot of these old players, because I think the football back then also was much more, tougher compared to what it is now. Like, of course, there are a lot of rash tackles happening now also, but I think that was like, authentic. Like it was like always like every player was like going in for every single tackle, like without thinking twice. So that was like one thing that really made the sport a lot, a lot more interesting also. And the rivalries also were so much more, I would say aggressive before, compared to what it is now. But moving on to our front three, I think we'll come to this position obviously later. But left wing,
Eden
Eden
Hazard,
Hazard.
without no doubt about it.
He's obviously
Chelsea Hazard was a phenomena. It was a footballing phenomena. Chelsea Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you think?
So
Okay,
sad to see him right now the way he is in Real Madrid.
I was going to ask you. Do you think he's, spoiled his career by changing clubs, or was it like, according to you, what do you think? Was it the right move to
And that was
leave?
absolutely the right move, no doubt about it, because he had reached a certain level at Chelsea.
Hmm.
He had reached his ceiling. If he had to win a Ballon d'Or, he had to move. Chelsea couldn't give him that.
Yeah.
बहुत स्ट्रगल कर रहे थे हम, सारी वाला सीजन था. वी ऑल नो व्हाट हैपेंड. हमारा फ्यूचर बहुत अनसर्टेन था.
Yeah.
ट्रांसफर बैन लगने वाला था. लैम्पार्ड केम इन द नेक्स्ट सीजन. ही कुड नॉट डू दोस थिंग्स. आई डोंट ब्लेम हिम. He served his contract. He could have left 3 seasons earlier when there was a lot of pressure on us to sell him. But he still stuck by us, won us the Europa League. The only regret I have with Hazard is that he was not able to win the Champions League with us.
That's
He won
fair,
the
yeah.
we won the Champions League a season before he came, and we won the Champions League 2 seasons later when he
Yeah.
left. So in that, and same thing happened with Torres. The season he arrived, previous season we had won the Premier League, and the season he left, we won the Premier League again. So these two regrets I have with these two players. But Hazard, I don't think there should be even a discussion on
Yeah,
the left wing.
he's
I mean,
he's
yes,
just
we have had some
phenomenal.
really good players. We have had Damien Duff, we have had Iron Robin, Joe Cole, but Hazard was something absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, I agree. But I think, regardless of where Hazard, whether he would be at Chelsea or go to, go anywhere else also, I think he had reached that level where he was getting very injury prone, because when you have played for like 10 years, 10, 12 years professionally, there's a lot of strain that comes on your body, and then towards the latter part of your career, there are a lot of injury, issues that start happening due to, training and putting your body through so much pressure. So I think regardless of where he was, he would have, got injured a lot more. But it's sad to see, his situation right now. And let's see, hopefully he at least has
Let's hope so.
a couple more good season. Now, you said one man over here,
Yes,
Frank Lampard.
We have to have him in the team. He was not a midfielder. It's a myth that Frank Lampard was a midfielder. He was a second striker, and he was always 2 steps ahead of the game. And I haven't seen a poacher like Frank Lampard in the game.
Yeah, go ahead.
The way he arrived late in the box, he
Yeah.
used to arrive very late in the box and had a shot on him, was a very good penalty taker. He used to score with free kicks, was a very good creator also when he used to play behind the striker. He could do everything. Also played a deep midfielder in Mourinho's season, first season, in his second spell. So he could defend also as a defensive, but was not very good as a defensive midfielder, but he could play there if you wanted him to play. So I think he is if we just talk about the club, I think he is our best player ever. If we just talk about Chelsea, yes. He is our best because of the versatility that he brought to the team.
I see a lot of, similarities, I would say, not exactly or like a replica of Frank Lampard, but a lot of similarity between Mount and Lampard. And of course Mount has a lot of years to improve. Like, hopefully he can. I doubt he will reach the level of Frank Lampard, but definitely.
I think Mount is something of his own. Mount's profile is not very mainstream. You don't find players of Mount's profile. I think it is not quite similar to Lampard. Conor Gallagher is quite similar to Lampard. What I see. Conor Gallagher,
yes. What he's doing.
Conor Gallagher is quite similar to Lampard. Mount is something absolutely different. Mount is a byproduct of modern football. That modern football requires your midfielders to press from up top, create that pressure on the back line of the defenders, be that energetic presence behind the striker, can score whenever called upon, provide those creative passes. This profile is developing slowly in modern football. It is not your conventional mainstream midfielder, Mason Mount. You cannot say a Mason Mount is a proper 10 or a 8. I think he's 9.25. If
he's
you
like,
have to ask.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a hybrid. He's like between
he's a hybrid. Yes.
Yeah, he's a hybrid between the number 10 and number 9. But
yes,
coming to now, you said that Frank Lampard is probably our best player ever.
just on the numbers and everything, but
Okay.
this guy is my greatest of all time. No one comes even close. The channel का नाम है यार.
हाँ. आपको क्या लगता है? You consider him like above every other player to ever play the
Yes.
sport?
Yes, because he has given me the most happiness.
Fair enough.
And
Yeah.
and I don't judge a player by his stats or what he has achieved. How happy he has made me.
Definitely
That's what
Lukaku
matters.
will be also up there then.
Hope so. Sometime
Hopefully soon.
next season he turns his form around and he'll be there in the conversation. But Drogba was a phenomena. I mean, you have not seen any player doing what Drogba did in the cup finals.
Yeah,
And the
that's
players
there.
who step up in the big games are really the big players.
Yeah.
And a cup final, Drogba was the most dangerous player on planet Earth.
He was
So-
one of the most lethal strikers, I think, in a one-off game in these big
Yes.
games, of what I've seen also of him, and what I've heard a lot of interviews of other players and other people around the club and around the sport talk about. I think he's Chelsea is the greatest striker ever, and I don't think
And
anyone's coming close to.
I still remember that game in which we were trailing Liverpool 2-0 at Anfield. We lost that game eventually 2-0 only. And Fernando Torres has scored 2 goals. It was the same season when we got him in the January 10-11 season. So we are trailing 2-0 and it's about 55th minute, 55 to 60th minute mark. Drogba starts to warm up. Ancelotti calls on Drogba. And Roy Hodgson is actually worried to see Drogba warming up because Drogba was not fit to start that game. So Kalu and Anelka were playing. And a half-fit Drogba started to warm up. He was ready to come on, and Roy Hodgson was really worried. They showed his expression wide on the TV screen. So that was the intimidation factor that Drogba had. I mean, and Arsenal fans are very glad that Drogba is retired. Even if Drogba were to play today, he would score against Arsenal. He was so lethal against Arsenal. So Arsenal were not an opposition when Drogba used to play. He used to score against peak Arsenal every time. That Arsene Wenger's Arsenal every time.
Yeah.
And cup finals, तो पता ही है हमको, League Cup, FA Cups, Champions League,
everything. He's done it all, and I'm very happy that a lot of these players actually won the Champions League with Chelsea, because there are a lot of good and amazing players we've had who have not been able to get that trophy. So especially for Drogba, Lampard, for these players, it's probably like now, except obviously I'm talking about club wise, they literally won the pinnacle of club competition. So in that way, hopefully, I'm happy that they won it. And what are your thoughts on this overall team? Where do you think this team would have finished
this team wins the treble.
Quadruple. With the quadruple. Everything.
With the depth that the bench that we will have. The bench we will have Oliver Giroud. We will have Makalele Essien. We will have Joe Cole, Michael Ballack, Diego Costa.
And Robin also.
And Robin. So this team wins the treble in my opinion. Minimum.
Minimum. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you, Drogba, again for coming on. And yeah, please do leave a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, thanks for watching. See you all in the next one.
Bye bye.